Have you ever dreamed that you had superpowers? Welcome to Shut Eye Theater, and I had a dream where, well, I was a superhero. But my powers were different. I was a technopath, and they weren't triggered until I had surgery. You see, during the surgery, they used a new form of Stark technology nanobots to help fix the problem. Now, once I got injected with those nanobots, I could just go in and fix the problem. That's when my abilities were triggered, and all of a sudden I could control technology. Now, the nanobots I could control the best, and I used them often. Now, unlike the other superheroes, I didn't like the fanfare, so I was kind of more of a quiet superhero, not going to the big events. They didn't really need me anyways. I just went and helped, well, people around me. Now, unfortunately though, Khan decided to try and come and conquer us, a different dimension one. Now, this guy, unfortunately, he didn't live up to the reputation of his other dimension versions of him. He wasn't the conqueror. In fact, he hasn't conquered any dimension, not even his own. And it was kind of pathetic. The Avengers were able to handle him no problem. Until he got wise, and he came up with a way to win in his own way. You see, he built a way for him to dream that he won. And this technology kept him in a perpetual sleep. You could say a dimension of his own imagination. Now, that would be harmless and fine, except anyone in our universe could fall asleep and end up in that form of sleep where they're in his dream. And if you die there, you die. We started having people all over the world fall asleep and not wake up. And every now and then, a superhero would. The superhero usually did wake up. Now, eventually I was one of those that fell asleep. Me, Thor, Bruce Banner, and Spider-Man. We're the superheroes that fell asleep with the next latest group of people that weren't waking up. Now, the other superheroes could recognize each other, but they didn't see why I was part of their group, I guess you could say. Now, as we went through this dream world, Kang, you see, it's his dream. And he knew the other superheroes. He was able to, well, dream them without their powers. So Thor was just normal, strong, without thunder abilities. Peter Parker was just smart without his spider abilities. Bruce Banner couldn't Hulk out. Yeah, eventually we did even bump into Stark, who didn't have his Iron Man suits. But me? Khan never met me. So my powers were still there, still active in the stream, because he couldn't imagine them not being there because he didn't know who I was. So when we finally met up to him, he basically gave the superheroes an ultimatum to where they could just wake up and leave him alone or stay in the dream. Some took up on it. Bruce didn't know what to do without Hulk, or the Hulk ability, so he left. Peter Parker, same story, kind of left. Stark tried to stick around, but without anything he could really manipulate and use. His mind is powerful and strong, but not useful without other things to meld to his abilities. So he left as well. Thor, only Thor. He always fights. So he stuck around, and so did I. And our goal was just to wake him up. And what's the best way to wake someone up that's in a perpetual sleep? Get their heartbeat going. So I'm trying to find ways to get him angry, to get him irritated. And as Thor was distracting him, he kind of ignored me. And as I went around the table, I instructed the nanobots, and even in the stream version, to change my fist into denser materials and to make it so that it's strong. They were medical nanobots. I could do quite a bit. And so basically I had more of a robotic arm when I swung and punched him. The only way Kang was able to resist my punch, well, he dreamed that his face became concrete. It still hurt him. I broke his nose. And then my hand went back normal, and he looked at it, and he's like, what's going on? He didn't see what changed. He didn't see what it was. So he couldn't dream it away. And I kept doing things, kept irritating him, kept trying to make him get angry, and he was starting to work. The world was starting to shake and phase. People were starting to wake up as well, that he could no longer maintain in this prison of his. And eventually we were able to get him to the point where he woke up and went back to his dimension through constant irritation. Now, Thor tried to find me in the world ward, but he couldn't. You see, I still like my privacy. And I didn't go and fight them, or went and join them with other big fights, but in that one time, it was fun to fight along Thor with my own special little ability. That's kind of where the dream ends. I wish I had more time in that dream to actually really explore what I could do with this nanobot techno ability that I had. Unfortunately, like all dreams, you wake up eventually and you don't get to explore everything. So now, I guess it's just me playing around with it with my own imagination. Luckily, I was able to remember this dream. I had this dream near the beginning of the week. Usually they fade faster than that, but this one stuck, and it's fun. Either way, have you ever had a dream where you've had special abilities? Maybe when it helped out a lot of people without taking recognition? Let me know in the comments. And until next time, sleep tight.